we're kind of going to go with a bit more of a more brutal approach, is what I said. And I know brutal's a very like big word. More so because I think there's some things that we do which I think you're better than. The kind of stuff, well, this is a very difficult one, I think, actually, to get right with you. So when I was on stream watching it earlier on and talking about it, I always like watching your game specifically because you move the ball around well. You know, you try and play football. You know, you're trying to introduce obviously the things that we speak about in terms of skill moves and taking on a man and so on. It's always a good thing to watch you on FIFA. I think it's going to be a very difficult one and a very hard one for me and you to get right. What I felt like watching this game at times is I can physically see you thinking about what to do. Like, as in, it's like, I can see the clock kind of ticking over in your head going, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I pass this here? Should I do this skill move here? And so on. And sometimes what that causes us to do is it leads us to lose the ball. It leads us the opponent to just come and close you down while you're still thinking, oh, which option should I take? Or it's not always just the right option. You take too long, and then you maybe you overthink the scenarios and don't always kind of go directly forward. Which that to me is a very, very difficult thing for me and you to sit here and go, okay, well, how do we fix that? How do we get that right? Because the only way I could kind of explain it, looking at it, was really it comes from experience from playing the game. Obviously, the longer you've played, the more you've played, and you're going to realize what patterns work and what doesn't work, and just kind of trusting, I suppose, your gut instinct a little bit more, which I think is a very difficult thing for us to. There's no like training technique that I can give you for that. Do you know what I mean? Like someone in the chat said, "Oh, ask him to pass the ball, 10 times in the final third as you're moving forward, and then be aggressive and go forward." But I'm like, yeah, but then you're going to be overthinking. I'll make 10 passes. Do this, do that. Like, what I kind of want, I kind of need from you to either be like a flower that's going to blossom, or like you're going to release a bird out of the cage. Just when you kind of get into that final third, just you go with what you think's right at that time without overthinking it too much. Does that make sense? Because that is kind of what it feels like.
My locker room of skills is still not that big, right? It's still fairly limited.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I know a couple of skill moves. I know how to move the ball around. I can pass my way through sometimes, but it's still only that big, right?
This is the first goal of the game. Not really too much notes really on this front, just to really talk about how you move the ball around quite quickly here. You were quite direct with it. You didn't mess around. Obviously, lovely finish on Bruno Fernandes. You can kind of see that in the middle of the pitch here, you move this around fairly quick. Players take one or two touches and then you give and go and release. You trigger the runs. You sent the Bruno on and run. Just a fantastic goal. Keep that in the back of your mind, kind of what came from that, to look at the positions later on that we get into. And then again, third goal that you get a little bit lucky with the rebound, but the little flick into Dalglish, I don't think you meant to do it. I think it was just because the kind of the pass that got laid into him with a double tap just obviously kept it up in the air. You did a direction or nutmeg, but it went out as this flick thing that kind of happened, and then obviously you get the rebound, and again, nice and direct, really, really good goal. So moving on to the 74th minute, we needed some form of skill. Personally, a ball roll scoop, a ball roll, a scoop forwards, almost anything. Do we expect this shot to have a 90% chance of going in? So a lot of today's session is going to be me asking you questions, really, to try and get into your head, and then hopefully you see what we're kind of after a little bit more, rather than me just instructing. So you get into a really brilliant position. You get in with Dembele, happy with where you got into, and some people in the chat at the time said, oh, this is a position where they just shoot because they've kind of got in. I look at that and go, do you think this has a 90% chance of going in?
I've conceded so many goals on that position, not for cross the goal shot, but for first post.
Yeah, the near post
from that position this weekend, and I don't know, because people are very direct when shooting from there, and they managed to score. I just don't get the way. For me, I think this is a high percentage shot. Okay. Not sure if 90%, but it's a clear path to goal, and it's a good shot power, good shot guy. I mean, Dembele can. If there's anyone to shoot from there, it's him. Not sure.
Do you think there's any particular reason why I would say this isn't a? I wouldn't want you to shoot just yet. What kind of things would you think about here if I was saying don't shoot?
Yeah, probably because it didn't go in, right? I need to be closer to the goal, I guess.
In a way, possibly, but there's also the way I look at it. So there's kind of three factors here. Number one, you've got Adama Traore on your shoulder, which means that it's going to be very difficult for you to get a good shot off, good power, good direction, good aiming, all that sort of stuff because of that pressure that you've got from that defender. Number two, there's a chance that the ball gets blocked. You've got another defender stood in front of you. You look at that there, that freeze frame, and you go, well, actually, by the time that you press shoot, I'm thinking this is just going to get blocked. And number three, it's not really in a favourable angle. Yes, the shots across goal are really strong, but you're running almost away from the goal, and then you're really trying to get behind it and get it across that areola. Is going to be quite a difficult chance. Now, you said that you've conceded a lot at the near post. If you then went for this shot at the near post and aimed it there, I could kind of understand why you've done it. But obviously that there is going across the face of goal. I look at it, and I think from a higher standpoint, a lot of people here that are going to be clinical. Like I've always said, I always try to make sure that and we get this a lot with you, by the way. Remember how long we've been having these coaching sessions. One of the things that you do a lot is you just take a shot when one extra touch, a skill move, a touch down or something, or touch away from the defender to try and give yourself more of a clear shot on goal, a more favourable shot. So for me, I look at this and go, you know what? If you did a ball roll here, you may have been able to just that's a simple skill move. You may have been able to just get through in that little gap. You may have been able to ball roll. If I just quickly go up there, ball roll up and then scoop turn into here and then bang, shot across goal.
I can't do the wall
so that's something that you can't do yet. So that's obviously something that we would need to work on. If you you know what, I can't do a ball roll scoop. Even maybe if you went for just a scoop turn into that direction, maybe if you went for a drastic fake shot into there, the ones where they put their arms up in and they go for like a 90-degree fake shot downwards. If you wanted to go for like a McGeady spin, where you flick the analog stick the way you're facing and then the way you want to exit, the right analog stick, the 5-star skill move. To me, it's just one of them scenarios where, yeah, you take the shot, you work the goalkeeper. I just don't really think it's ever got that much of a chance. Don't get me wrong, it will go in sometimes. But I look at that and just go, that killer instinct for me would be trying to take these throughout the game and then have a clear shot on goal. And we're going to see some more examples in a second. So this here, be direct and go forward. The pass is kind of covered if you wanted to argue, but too many times we don't go for this. Let's get into those two centre-backs more often. So if we can nail, the ball roll scoop, for example, and the direction and nutmeg, which we've spoke about a lot, and we'll see some examples of that. When you get in against these two centre-backs, you'll actually feel more confident because you now have got skills in your arsenal to take them on in a one-on-one. So here, that was a chance in a scenario where, we could have gone in to that Bruno Fernandes who's just open. Always take a look to see if those passes are available for us. Instead, you go, out here towards the wing when you could have just gone for that little double tap pass into Bruno Fernandes and then, go from there from it. All right. So just kind of reiterate for you how we've got into a really good position here. Bruno Fernandes, team of the year or team of the season, whichever one you've got, has now got a chance to take on the centre-back. If you can get this little pass into him now, it's a one-on-one scenario. If you think, obviously you can't do the ball roll scoop because you've not got the 5-star skills, but you're happy with your direction nutmegs, you're happy with any skill moves that you do want to use or may want to use in this area, whether it's a Lacko Keta, you can at least then try and take that man on or take a touch and, get a finesse shot off, and that's an area that we want to get into. So first point, the heel to heel, you use it a lot. It works sometimes, works not. However, look at this here and tell me, do you think this is the right option? So this is following on from that. You get here with a Dalglish. Do you think the heel to heel here is the best option for you?
Well, not in that direction for sure.
And why do you think that is?
Well, I'm going straight into the defender, right?
Yeah, you're going into a clustered area. You do a heel to heel here, you're going into that position. Now, what could you have done instead? If we want to keep things really, really simple for you, you could have just done a ball roll down this way. He's trying to cover across to there, and you'll be surprised how many... Because you've got to put yourself in his shoes now. He's really worried. You're inside the 18-yard box. You get one touch away, you get a shot off, you might score. This is panic time for a lot of defenders. A little ball roll there, nice and composed, could have opened up the chance. I'm not saying it would have, but it could have. Instead, you may want to go for a La Croqueta, which is where you hold the L1. Do you know how to do the La Croqueta, don't you?
No, that one I do.
No? You do, yeah?
I don't use it that much, but yeah,
Okay.
that one I get down.
So you could have done that into this gap. All I'm saying is that you don't want to be doing a heel-to-heel into an area, because the heel-to-heel's good when it's in like a one-on-one almost. So if you're like, say here, you're facing up a little bit, the defender's off to the side, then you can just use that heel-to-heel to get into that gap, but you're just heel-to-heel in here into a dangerous area. So obviously that just makes it very difficult for you to really get any clear line of goal. Again, that's a shot on goal there. You think at the match stats, what, we've had 2 shots now when we look at this, where we go, really, I just don't think they were ever testing a goalkeeper ever going in. So although it may be looking like shots inside the 18-yard box, they're still not clinical shots that have a very, very good chance of going in, purely because
I'm just trigger happy.
Yeah, in a long way, in a shorter way of putting it. Yeah, it's like this here. You tried the first time fake shot, GG. However, we get it wrong. Why is that? You go for the first time fake shot, really, really happy that you've tried to do it. Why do we get it wrong, in your opinion?
I think I should be pointing it to the other side, right?
Going to the area where you want, I personally wouldn't have gone upwards. You would have been going into this sort of gap down there. I'll let it play out for you, but he ends up just kind of tapping the ball and not really do anything. The element with this one and why this one's wrong, you press, if you look, pass is being played. That's where you first do your square and then X. So by the point of you receiving the ball, you've done the fake shot too late. Remember what we always say with this? When does the fake shot command, so square and X, when does it need to be inputted by?
Yeah, by the middle, right? Before the middle, the first one.
So before the middle of that pass, yeah. So you needed to at least have put square and then followed up with the X no later than here, really. If you do square and X almost here, push the left analog stick where you want to go before you receive the ball, you'll input that fake shot really, really well. All right. But again, let's please not take that as a detriment, as a bad thing. That I'm really happy with that you've tried. If you would have executed that, that would have, in my opinion, probably resulted in you getting past that defender, unless he predicted you were going to do that. Because the reason why the first time fake shot so well is when they're in the middle of that switch, you know, when he's got to change to that defender, because they're almost flat-footed. They're not ready for it. So well done for trying it. Just wrong execution. You put the corner in, brilliant, not a problem. And you lay it off. You do just over 4 bars of power here. I know you can't see the power bar in the bottom left, but you do 4 bars of power, and he just absolutely spoons it into row Z. If you're going to put that much power on it, do L1 and R1, because what it will do is it will do a power header into the ground. So at least if you're putting loads of power on it, he'll try and keep it low. If not, just don't put as much power on it. Heading is all manual this year. If you ever mess up a header, it's because you did something wrong. There is literally no other way, unless, like, you know, you maybe get like tackled in midair or something. But other than that, it's down to yourself. So you near enough put 4 bars of power on then. So if you're going to do that much power, because you're so far out from goal with a header, do L1 and R1 to do a power header. All right.
Okay.
You need to be thinking about that heel to heel now. Literally, as soon as you lay that ball in, you need to be thinking of your next steps, being 2 or 3 steps ahead of yourself before you actually now get the ball and go, how can I get out of this scenario? A heel to heel into this gap might generate me an extra second or something. So you just got to try and be a little bit quicker in your actions there.
Yeah.
This right here, I always love when people use fullbacks. It's just such a good way to get them behind, such an easy way, really. And you get there, right? And we don't go for that ball. He's onside. You can play that ball straight away. Take on. Now, this is his centre-back. His centre-back's going to be out of position. He's not going to be able to track back with his centre-mid. You're going to get into a good position from this. But instead, you turn back in and go back into where his centre-mids are marshalling. You know, the centre-mids are always going to be there in that scenario. And you almost allow him to just get more defenders back behind the ball. At times, if you ever feel like you're playing against, you know, 9-10 men in defence and you can't find room, you can't get these key chances, because at times you're getting into this area and you're just choosing not to go for that ball down there into the wing. You carry on running with a fullback. The centre-back comes over. The key part is he's not tracking back with his centre-mid, so there's going to be more space for your number 10 to work in as you get towards his 18-yard box. But you just chose not to do it. Now, when I was analysing this, I said, you know what? if you didn't send that right back on a run and he made that run by himself, I could almost understand that you may not have seen that, like, because you didn't trigger the run, right? But you've triggered the run here. You've got to be thinking about, hey, I've triggered this run. Is it going to work into a chance? Actually, yeah, look, there's a through ball there that I could just literally lay that down into and get into that scenario, you know, go and attack that man. But you just chose again to kind of go back. I mean, what a finish. However, do you think it's a tad aggressive with your defender? Wait for him to show face. You literally have 3 to 4 red shirts for him to work through. So this is where I felt like you were, you know, a little bit sloppy here. He's got the ball with Quadrado. You're really aggressive. You hold the sprint, you hold the jockey, and you charge at him. He goes for the rainbow flick, which you never try and meet the ball in mid-animation with a rainbow flick. You always wait for it at the end of the animation. As soon as he flicks that over his head, you realise, oh no, I've made a mistake there. And you try and recover. But unfortunately, you know, we know what the ball's like when it flicks up. It's a little bit hard to kind of lock on. However, did you even need to commit here yet? No? Wait for him to show you what he's going to do. Look how many red shirts are in the way of that. He's got to do something spectacular to get past you here. And he does, but you almost give him that by charging in at him like a madman, really. And it just allows him to get that. I mean, it's a fantastic finish. No taking that away. But all you needed to do here was go, right, stand up, hold the L2 button. Where are you going, Quadrado? Are you going to pass the ball? Are you going to do a La Croqueta? Are you going to do an elastic? What is it that you're going to do? Stand your ground, wait for him to show, and then commit. But instead, you just went, hey, I'm going to commit to you now. He does the rainbow flick and just gets past you really easily. All right, just to show you the direction of nutmeg here. So you go for the direction of nutmeg. Again, round of applause that, you know, we're going for it. That's the right thing for us to be trying. But you just get it a little bit wrong. Remember what we've always spoken about with the direction of nutmeg? You should be doing it in a way where if you're facing that way, it's got to be almost 45 degrees, 50 degrees to where we are. So 90 degrees is there. You're then looking for a direction of nutmeg in between that 90 degrees, okay? Obviously, where we're doing the direction of nutmeg here is taking it away from goal. If you wanted to go for one through that gap and try and cheese your way through, then possibly, but just not really the position. You don't. The point for the direction of nutmeg is to get the speed boost and the animation. That isn't the animation that we want. That's just a roll forward. Look at this one, however. This is the animation of the direction of nutmeg, which makes it really strong with a Bruno Fernandes. You lay the ball into him, and look where you're lined up. Bang. He defends that. That's not a problem. I'm happy that you've tried that. But look at the difference in the animation that you get compared to that one that you just did with the Dalglish. Can you see how he knocks the ball there and then he runs round to the left and he gets that speed boost? You see how he's sprinting away? Compare that to this one. It's just not the same, is it? You can see that it just, you don't get anywhere near that sort of speed coming out of it. So well done. Look at what you did here. Look at where you're facing. You're facing that way. You've pushed it into that way. The 45 degrees that we're after, he just defends that well. But well done for going for that. That's the sort of area where we want to be doing it. And then last but not least, you do another direction nutmeg here where you go for it backwards. This one's terrible. It's really slow again. If you want to come back like this, to be honest with you, you're better off maybe even doing a drag back because at least you can cancel it halfway in the animation. But that's just too slow. I wouldn't really recommend using that in that sort of area. Okay.
I was training to gain a pen there.
try something. Fair enough. I don't blame you. And then this here, I just wanted to say, remember to press with your attackers. So your right attacking mid, your left attacking mid and striker. Be a little bit more aggressive on the press. You know, you're 2-1 up here. You've just scored. He lays the ball out here to the fullback, and you just back off. You know, you don't really do anything, but it just allows him to switch that out easier. Your right attacking mid, left attacking mid, and your striker can be really aggressive in the press. So here, as soon as he lays this back, stick with the Dembele. He lays that out now. Go and charge at him. Literally, imagine, I don't know, think of your favourite food. He's got some of your favourite food that you want to go and get off him. For me, if this guy had a burger, I'd be like, right, give me that burger, mate. I'd go charging at him, sprint at him, try and put some pressure on. You'll be surprised the amount of times that you end up catching him off guard because they're doing what you're doing. They're trying to think, oh, what passes have I got on? They don't realise that you're charging at them, going, oh, give me that burger, and you go and win it back, and then bang, you know, you've got the ball and you can do something with it. I just feel like that was a time where you could have gone forward and maybe been that little bit more aggressive. All right.
Okay.
That's everything. Apologies that we've gone over a little bit. I know that was a little bit of a talk then at the end. Was there any questions on that, Elgas? Anything that didn't make sense? Anything that you want me to go back over at all?
No, I think it's perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
That's what we like to hear. If you need me, you know where I am. Obviously, just drop me a message. I'll get that uploaded and sent over to you. I've had an upgrade on the internet, so it'll probably be over with you at some point tonight, early tomorrow morning. All right. And obviously,
Okay, no problem.
thank you for your support as always, buddy. Thank you for coming on stream as well. Always do appreciate it. And I'll catch you in the next one. All right, bud.
Yes.
See you
Thank
later.
you very much.
No worries. Take care. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.